How did a volcanic eruption in Iceland kill over 20,000 people in Britain 1,500 miles away? It all started in southeast Iceland, where the Laki volcano sits on a tectonic divide. The North American and Eurasian tectonic plates divide Iceland almost neatly in half. At this divergent plate boundary, Iceland is slowly being pulled apart as new rock forms between each plate. This pulling apart creates rifts in the crust, or fissures where volcanoes like Laki can form. On June 8, 1783, 14 cubic kilometers of lava between the rifts of the North American and Eurasian plates bubbled up in Laki and exploded onto the surface, along with ash, fluorine, and approximately 122 megatons of sulfur dioxide gas. While the isolated area around Laki ensured that the ash and lava didn't pose a significant threat to human life, that fluorine and 122 tons of sulfuric dioxide gas would start a chain reaction of death across the country and eventually the entire northern hemisphere. Shortly after the eruption, gas and other plants in the Icelandic countryside became poisoned by fluorine, causing livestock who ate the grass to perish. In total, over half of Iceland's livestock died due to fluorine-contaminated grass, leading to a nationwide famine that killed many citizens. The sulfur dioxide gas was even more deadly. When combined with the water vapor in a human's lungs, it created a poison that would slowly suffocate its victims. In total, combined famine and poisoning killed about a fifth of Iceland's population at the time. The suffering was so significant that many Icelanders thought they were being punished for the sins of man. And some historians even argue that the cultural depression that followed was responsible for the loss of many of Iceland's traditional dances. According to leading Iceland historian Professor Gunnar Karlsson, those in Iceland simply lost the will to dance. But what does all of this have to do with the 20,000 deaths in Britain? Well, when Laki pumped sulfur dioxide into the atmosphere, wind carried the emissions across the northern hemisphere to Europe and beyond. The same poisonous fog that caused so many deaths in Iceland was now loose on Europe, causing deaths all around the northern hemisphere, and yes, even 20,000 deaths in Britain. Even after the fog had subsided, some experts claim that the effects of Laki were felt on the area's climate for years after, as unusually cruel winters plagued the area and caused more famine and destruction. Scientists who support this theory claim that the sulfur dioxide in the atmosphere could have upset the thermal balance of Arctic regions, causing harsher winters years after Laki's eruption. However, this claim is still widely disputed, as other scientists argue that the sulfur dioxide from Laki should have been cleared out of the atmosphere by 1784, and attribute the colder winters to natural climate variation. However disputed the climatic effects of Laki may be, the cultural effects of the eruption left behind in Iceland can be plainly seen. Today, Icelandic schoolchildren are required to learn about volcanic eruptions, lava, geology, and the Laki explosion in schools nationwide. It seems that Iceland believes an educated army of future geologists is the best way to learn more about what makes eruptions like Laki so deadly, for the sake of Icelanders and the British alike.
Created using Powtoon.